Criminal aliens, those who have broken immigration laws and those who are arrested for other offenses, pose a threat to Laramie County citizens. Removing those individuals protects our families, our neighborhoods, and our businesses.
Hello and welcome back to Wyoming Watch from the Wyoming Tribune-Eagle. I'm Noah Zahn, your state government reporter here. Earlier this week, 25 Laramie County Sheriff's Office deputies were officially certified to enforce federal immigration laws and assist Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE. On Wednesday, Laramie County Sheriff Brian Kozak hosted a press conference on the change, which made Laramie County one of the first in the state to do so. This is the first part of a two-part episode where next week we speak with an activist who is opposed to the issue and what it could mean for immigrants in the community. Stick around until the end of this episode to hear a preview of that, as well as our usual events roundup and headlines recap. But first, this week on Wyoming Watch, we're airing Kozak's speech from that event, followed by a Q&A, which was attended by our reporter Ivy Segrest. Here's that recording now.
Wyoming does not want to be a sanctuary state for those who ignore our laws and threaten public safety. Our safety depends on holding accountable those who violate our laws, especially individuals who come unlawfully and commit further crimes in our state. Criminal aliens, those who have broken immigration laws and those who are arrested for other offenses, pose a threat to Laramie County citizens. Removing those individuals protects our families, our neighborhoods, and our businesses. To be clear, our mission is public safety. The Laramie County Sheriff's Office, or LCSO, will fulfill its mission of public safety by identifying criminal aliens as an extension of our normal duties. In other words, LCSO will not proactively engage in immigration enforcement. However, if deputies encounter undocumented aliens during regular criminal enforcement, they may detain them for removal proceedings. Deputies may inquire about immigration status only after a lawful stop, a detention, or an arrest based on reasonable suspicion of criminal activity. Immigration enforcement will never supersede or divert resources from our core public safety duties. I, along with the 25 deputies that you witnessed being sworn in by ICE, are now authorized to enforce immigration law under Title 8, Section 287G of the Immigration and Nationality Act. Each deputy volunteered for this duty and completed training in cultural diversity, profiling, naturalization process, document identification, visas, and constitutional standards. I'm one of a few chief law enforcement officials in America to complete the training. ICE has said that they believe I'm the only one, but I'm playing it safe by saying there's others out there too. So the reason in doing so is to establish policy and properly oversee the program for Laramie County. We affirmed our pledge to obey and enforce the United States Constitution, which prohibits any type of profiling or discrimination based upon race, language, ethnicity, or perceived immigration status. My policy prohibits immigration sweeps. It does not allow deputies to enter private property such as schools, churches, homes, businesses, or farms for the sole purpose of immigration enforcement. Deputies may only inquire about immigration status after a lawful contact. These deputies are being deployed with a priority to interdict human and drug trafficking on Interstate 25 and Interstate 80, which run through Laramie County. Many times, human trafficking is connected to immigration. Let me break it down for you. If you are engaged in human trafficking in Laramie County, you will go to jail. Our priority is to rescue sex trafficking victims. The 287G certification allows our task force deputies to help trafficking victims obtain T visas. If you remember, human trafficking enforcement was a priority for me when I was police chief. In fact, one of the sergeants that helped with that operation is sitting here, so thank you for that help at Mesa PD. I mean at Cheyenne PD. I'm sorry. Again, the whole goal with this is to put a priority on rescuing human trafficking victims. Unfortunately, that ended when myself and Sergeant Myrick left the police department. However, LCSO is going to take the lead to make this a priority again this next year, and working along with U.S. Attorney Smith as well to make this a priority. Deputies may also help domestic violence victims obtain a U visa. These visas ensure that victims remain in the United States so they can testify against criminals. During the last 4 years, millions of undocumented people entered our country illegally. As a result, the immigration system became gridlocked, causing delays for those who are trying to remain in our country legally. Our deputies may refer people into the Alternative to Detention program, which allows those awaiting legal residency to remain in our community. Working with ICE, we will assist those who wish to self-deport and apply for re-entry and legal residency. LCSO is not using the 287G program strictly for enforcement. So we have trained our deputies to help people, to do the right thing while protecting our communities from crime. I have also established a priority for our deputies to remove unlicensed and undocumented semi-truck drivers from our roads. Estimates show that over 130,000 unlicensed, undocumented truck drivers are traveling on our state highways and federal highways. So let me be candid about this. Unsafe, unlicensed, and undocumented truckers in this county will be arrested and go to jail. These drivers are undercutting the American drivers and killing innocent people on our highways. When I say criminal aliens will go to jail, I do mean our jail. The Laramie County Jail has been approved by ICE to hold immigration detainees awaiting deportation. In the next few days, the jail will receive 10 ICE detainees from a facility in Colorado, which is overcrowded. The jail is currently holding 11 detainees on ICE holds. We have the space for nearly 100. However, we are reserving the space for task force officers and other agencies who may become involved in the 287G task force. We have a vacancy sign on the outside of the jail as a reminder that we will always leave the light on for law enforcement. So Chief Deputy Perry Rockvam is here next to me, oversees the facility, and has dedicated one pod for ICE detainees. The jail provides detainees with multilingual resources, phone calls, video visits, legal access, mental health counseling, and a 24/7 medical care. So these are practices that promote humane treatment while maintaining safety and order. Per a contract with ICE, the jail receives a daily fee of $120 per detainee. This revenue will be reinvested into law enforcement, jail maintenance, and deputy training. It will not be used for ongoing expenses. We are not housing criminal aliens to make money. We are doing it for national security, public safety, and upholding the rule of law, which we are sworn to do. Criminal aliens disobeyed our laws, and it is our duty to protect Wyoming and its citizens. And so I want to thank you for attending this. I would ask our U.S. Attorney, Darren Smith, if you'd like to say a few words. So welcome. Sure.
So I just want to commend Sheriff Kozak and also all of our law enforcement officers that are here. Before you leave, guys, I want to shake your hand. I want to give you my card. Just again, you were the front lines. You were the thin blue line, as you've heard that said before. But you keep our communities safe, and you keep them secure. And Wyoming is the gold standard because of you. I just wanted to thank you for that. And And thank you, Sheriff Kozak, for showing great leadership. A country is not a country unless it has borders, unless it has laws that are enforced. And Sheriff Kozak gets that. And due to his leadership, once again, Wyoming is setting the standard for law enforcement. Criminally illegal aliens are now on notice. Don't set up shop in Wyoming. Bottom line, you're not welcome here because you're breaking the laws. So anyone who's trafficking humans or dealing in drugs in this state, especially fentanyl and meth, you better choose a different state. You better get out because we're coming for you. That's a fact. So we will prosecute the fullest extent of the law, period, end of story. And I would encourage, if there are other sheriffs out there, other police departments out there, to consider doing the same thing with your officers. This is a program that's available to not just the sheriff's office in Laramie County, but I believe any sheriff's office that would like to participate. We have 23 counties. Also, there are lots of PDs around the state that I know for sure that we'd like to partner with. Is that correct? Right. And also Mr. Guadion. Did I say that correct? Yeah. Great guy here, and he's just running to the sound of the guns, and he is dead set on enforcing our laws. And that's what it's all about. It's not about, we're not looking to profile anyone, we're looking to enforce the laws we have because we have a great country. And if we don't protect our country, if we don't protect our borders, if we don't protect our way of life, then we lose it. And so that's why laws are so important. You guys you're the difference makers. Never doubt that for 1 second. Without you, things just fall apart. And without laws that are actually enforced, by the way, we'll back you to the full extent of the law. So you never have to worry about it. There's a law in the books about you wondering if you can enforce it or not, because we'll be behind you 100% in the U.S. Attorney's Office. We're here for you. And with that, again, Sheriff Kozak, sometimes I wonder if the guy wears a cape, because I mean, he's becoming actually more famous than infamous as a lawman, which is good. I think it's switched, right? Switched a little bit. First, he's probably more infamous, but no, seriously, we have a great leader here, and you guys all work here. You just don't know how good you have it, but maybe you do. Maybe you work somewhere else, but he's the gold standard. So thank you.
All right. Board up some questions. Does anyone have any questions? So the reason we brought you here for a news conference, which is kind of unusual for Giant, but we wanted to, because our time is valuable, so we didn't want to separately do each news organization independently. So we're here to answer some questions if you have. Yes, Ivy.
The task force model has had a lot of pushback in other states and previous administrations. Arizona famously let go of it because they did have deputies racially profiling potential people violating immigration laws. Outside of your policies and trainings, how can you ensure that we won't see the same lawsuits come up down the line here?
Yeah, so and you bring that up. I used to be a law enforcement officer in Arizona. I was, of course, during my speech, I mistakenly said Mesa because I spent 22 years there. And so I was there when the sheriff's office was engaged in immigration enforcement. So their policy was much different than ours. They had no limits on their policy, and they wanted to apprehend all kinds of undocumented people. Our policy, it limits our deputies to having a legal contact, requiring a legal contact, a criminal reason to actually stop someone and detain them, and then secondary would be our investigation to immigration issues. Our primary focus is criminal aliens, which was not the case in Arizona, the case that you brought up. And so that's our focus. Our deputies are, I believe, because I've worked in several states, our deputies are the best trained. The amount of hours that they go through far exceeds any other state that I've worked in. And specifically the training in profiling, cultural diversity, and just doing your law properly. So I'm a constitutional sheriff. That is the most important thing to me, is that our employees, our sheriff's office, is first and foremost following the United States Constitution.
Kind of to piggyback off of that, can you talk a little bit about what systems are in place to ensure that profiling isn't happening?
Sure. So as you know, all of our deputies have body-worn cameras in their cars. It is required currently under our policy that those videos are routinely reviewed by our supervisors. Our policy, which you have, I can provide a copy to you specifically to the immigration enforcement, does require that our supervisors to review those videos and those reports to ensure that profiling is not taking place. We will have zero tolerance on profiling and discrimination with enforcement. If, you know, I think I made it pretty clear, is that we are not going to be going into homes, businesses. We're not going to be doing immigration sweeps. Our focus is that if we contact someone criminally, then we may, as a secondary investigation, conduct an immigration investigation. Because our goal is to remove criminal aliens from our community if they are here illegally and they're committing crimes. Yes, I do.
With these type of detainments having 100 spots open, how are you mitigating resources so that locals in Laramie County aren't being deprived of the quality of service that they expect from you?
Yeah, so our jail right now, I think our daily population.
261 this morning.
261, so, and I think the maximum for our jail on beds is right around 420. So we, and again, other jails in the state have taken in a lot of, or more, I guess, transfers from the immigration facilities in Colorado than we plan on. We plan on just taking 10 initially, because we want to make sure we have room for our agency, and also I believe the Highway Patrol is also going to be engaged in 287G enforcement as well eventually here. And so we want to make sure we have enough space. We don't want to overburden our staff. We, like I said, we have the vacancy sign. It's always going to be lit. We always have room for local criminals. If they break the law here in Wyoming County, we will always leave the light on for them and have space for them.
And which facility is that in Colorado that you're taking the 10 from?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about the training that you and the other 25 deputies have gone through?
Yeah, it was 40-hour training, and I went through in my presentation the type of classes that they were, but it was a lot on constitutional law, on probable cause, reasonable suspicion, when can you detain someone suspected of being undocumented, the investigation process, trying to validate whether or not they are legally in the country. And so there was actually a lot of training on different charts that immigration has as far as where the parents were born, how long have they been in the country, not in the country, military service. So it was quite involved with that regard. Now, just to let you know, we are also being supervised, and there's oversight from ICE supervisors as well. So when our deputies suspect someone who has committed a crime here locally, and also suspect them to be undocumented and illegal alien, criminal alien, then our process, our policy is we will make a phone call to an ICE supervisor, and they will validate everything that we're doing and actually give us the green light to proceed with the detention or not. Yes?
Is there any worry by the office that some individuals or communities might not reach out to the Laramie County Sheriff's Office for this collaboration?
You know, that's always a concern. We have several deputies that are bilingual that are even here today, and so we constantly reach out to those communities to ensure them that our goal is to help them. They call us. We're not going to investigate immigration status. It's not until you commit a crime. And most of the people that we've spoke to about that policy agree with that policy. And so another thing that we, you know, it is kind of tricky at times because a lot of these people come here from other countries where there is a complete, I mean, it's a cultural, generational thing, a lack of trust with law enforcement in those countries. And so they bring that lack of trust here to the United States. And we're always trying to bridge that gap to, I guess, help people understand that we are there to help them. So like I said in my presentation, our #1 focus is to help people. And that's what we're going to do.
Will the Laramie County Sheriff's Office be partaking in any other financial incentives from ICE other than the daily fees?
I don't know yet. There's been some communication and some possible other reimbursement for costs coming out in the future, but I'm not sure what that's gonna involve.
Of the 25 that were certified, are they certified under each individual agreement, or are they certified to do all three?
No, so the people that took the oath here, I think there were 3 under the jail model and the rest were under the task force model.
Okay, and is
And
there
then
any
I was
overlap with warrant service?
What's that?
Any overlap with the warrant service model?
No,
Okay.
yeah. Or there may have been one warrant service. I think you might have been warrant service, right? Yeah, so 1 warrant service. And how many jail deputies total here? Raise your hand. So 3 were jail model, 1 warrant service, and then the rest of us were task force. Yep. And so those of you that don't understand, so the jail model, what that does is that's a longer training process because those deputies will have access to all the federal databases and computers, and so they're the ones that do the more in-depth investigation as to the actual legal status of the person that's been brought into the jail. So that's why their training is a little bit more involved, and also they also have oversight, or being supervised by ICE supervisors as well.
And
All right.
Can we assume that all ICE detainments coming out of your jail from now on are part of this program and aren't like the standard process you would go through prior to this? Does that make sense?
No, I don't understand.
Okay. When we get booking sheets and it says ICE detainment on said booking sheet, can we assume that that is a part of the 287G program, or will you be tracking that separately?
No, it may not be. So it may be an arrest made by a state trooper or a deputy or a Cheyenne police officer who brought him in on criminal charges, and then that would also show, and they're suspected to be undocumented. Then ICE will come in and do the investigation and put a hold on them. So some of those detainees may show that based on an arrest outside of this program.
Now, here's Taylor Staples, our arts and entertainment reporter, to bring you a roundup of some events coming up in Cheyenne and Laramie County this week.
For some of the events this week, today, CLTP's production of Newsies continues, which shows at 7 p.m. tonight and Saturday, and a 2 p.m. matinee on Sunday. All shows are at the Mary Godfrey Playhouse. The Laramie County Community College also has their Manufacturing Day today at 11 a.m., where students can explore the manufacturing facility and see equipment demonstrations. Then, the Lincoln Cheyenne is teaming up with Art Cheyenne for their annual Art for Art immersive art experience and benefit at 7 p.m. Also at 7 p.m., the Nightmare on 17th Street Haunted House kicks off at the Knights of Pythias Lodge both today and tomorrow. On Saturday from 8 to 9 a.m., people can visit Central Cafe for a yoga session on the patio. Then, Family Day at the Wyoming State Museum starts at 10 a.m. with the theme Creepy Crawly Critters. Also at 10 a.m., there's a Laramie County Touch a Truck event at the Event Center at Archer, and a Brushes and Bites event at the library, which is from 10 a.m. to noon, and also 2 to 4 p.m. Then there's a bonsai tree workshop being hosted at the Cheyenne Botanic Gardens at 10:30 a.m., an annual Hike for Hunger run/walk at 11 a.m. at the Hines Lodge and Amphitheater. Then there's the All-City Children's Chorus 50th season kickoff and alumni concert at 4 p.m. at the Cheyenne Civic Center, and the annual Black Dog Rescue Bark and Wine fundraising gala at 5:30 p.m. On Monday, October 6th, there's a Valentine's event at 4:15 at the library and a Harvest Moon stroll at 6:30 p.m. at the Cheyenne Botanic Gardens. On Tuesday, October 7th, the library is hosting a living room conversation chat about death and culture from noon to 2 p.m. and another from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. On Wednesday, October 8th, there's an AARP Cheyenne Community Group meeting at the Laramie County Senior Center at 12:30 p.m., as well as a chair yoga and poetry from 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. at the library. Then at 5:30 p.m., a watercolor class will be held at the Cheyenne Frontier Days Old West Museum, and the event is called Art Uncorked. On Thursday, October 9th, another Thankful Thursdays commences at the Lincoln Way Event Hall at 4 p.m. This week is focused on raising funds for United Way of Laramie County, and there's also a poetry reading and book signing with 3-time poet laureate Joy Harjo at LCCC's Clay Pathfinder building at 6 p.m. For the full list of events, as well as prices and times, visit wyomingnews.com/calendar and make sure to call the numbers listed to double check, as details are subject to change.
And before we close out today, here's a quick recap of some of our top stories and headlines from the past week. Some state lawmakers are looking to update the Wyoming Public Records Act, something that has been done twice since 2012. Though it's unclear at this point which direction the task force will take, elected officials are currently considering 3 items. The first government shutdown since 2019 began at 10 p.m. local time Tuesday after members of Congress failed to come to an agreement on a short-term government funding bill. The effects could be felt across Wyoming, including in federal employment, Social Security, the military, and outdoor recreation. An airman assigned to the 90th Missile Security Forces Squadron at F.E. Warren Air Force Base died Tuesday following an incident in Fort Collins, Colorado. This is the 3rd time this year that an airman from the 90th Missile Wing at F.E. Warren has died following a shooting incident. And finally, new accusations are being made in the wake of a Wyoming Tribune Eagle article last month regarding criticism of Laramie County Republican Party Chairwoman Lorraine Quarberg. An email received by the WTE reveals that some, if not all, claims made about Quarberg were exaggerated or false. That's all for this week's episode of Wyoming Watch. Thank you so much for tuning in, and make sure to tune back in next Friday, where we'll be airing the second part of this 2-part series, where Ivy had a conversation with the head of ACLU Wyoming, Antonio Serrano. Here's a preview of that now.
So this individual who was recording me sent the cops after me with a lie. He didn't know me. He saw what I looked like, and he made an assumption and then decided to act on that assumption. So he sent the cops coming at me aggressive for this huge accusation that was not clear, not real. And they looked through my car. They didn't release me until that gentleman said that I made a mistake. And this is a normal thing for me. This is a normal thing for a lot of brown people in Cheyenne, for a lot of black people in Cheyenne.